Great rise and beautiful natural beings. How's it going? How is it going? So, I have multiple channels. We understand this. And I've always talked about why would you create a pandemic, baby? You know, you could tell how unaware people are, how they're actually just living in their lower vibration, their lower beastly mode where they just operate. Okay? They're just governed by what God gave them to operate. Like, nothing about it is spiritual, nothing about it is divine. It's just beastly, right? So, in my previous video, I was talking about I didn't understand why the guy wanted to do sex rituals with me, in a sense, like basically like a blood ritual, right? With the menstrual blood. Like, you pretend like you don't want to do it, like it's filthy, but if this person is conscious and aware and they know who they are, they want to see where you come from. So you gon' be around that woman blood until your spirit or your vibration catch up with where this woman is coming from. And once we come to reality of where I'm coming from, or he figured out where I was coming from, he damn near ghosted me because he realized that our bloodlines would go to war. And I explained that. He was O blood, I was B blood. I could see the outcome of his children. You can observe their children to know if you should have children with them or not. Like his last child in her 30s had cancer at 15. So you can really observe, like, wait a minute, if she was vulnerable to that in such an abnormal spot, maybe his sperm is not what you need anymore. Maybe his bloodline is not what you need. And then you observe the children to see if they're tapped into anything spiritual, and that they are not, okay? The bloodline. But in the process, remember one day I was joking. I was saying, you might not want to do that. And they was like, why not? I was like, you might go crazy. And they was like, what do you mean? I was like, why would you do that? Why would you even want to test the waters? Why would you want to do that? You might go crazy. But he wanted to do it anyway. And I would say within 6 or 7 months, we were clashing. You know why we was clashing? We was clashing because he tried to tap into something that was divinely protected, that had nothing to do with his bloodline, had nothing to do with his lineage, had nothing to do with his frequency. And in the process, this video made me bring it up, but I've talked about it in the past. I'm gonna play this video, and I shared it on the channel, but hopefully nobody be like, no copyright shit. I hope these motherfuckers don't start hating for me sharing their content. But but if for some reason my video get taken down for me sharing their content, I'm gonna link the video in the description and in the comment section. But at the same time, if for some reason get taken down, I'll just bleep this part out and just share the description. But it will make so much sense to be inside of my video so you can see why. That's how powerful I am. I literally told the person, look, we dibbling and dabbing. We want to know if we're compatible. Like, I told him about the bloodline. I said, The guy that I've never had sexual desires for, I think I'm more compatible to him than you. Like the motherfucker that you heated up about, you want to be with, you willing to risk it all to be with them. 9 out of 10, you're not supposed to be with them. The person you're supposed to be with is the person that you're not into. Okay? And them ancestors and them spirit guides and them celestial forces is gonna go to war. And this guy really figured out, because I told him, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to go crazy. And he didn't believe me. So let's listen to it. Why would he have gone crazy? Listen.
Stress. So most of us is being born because of economic. You will find a lot of marriage is not because the woman loved the man, or it's not because the man loved the woman, it's because they're trying to survive. So a lot of us is being brought to this world because of survival. We trying to survive, and that is a very low vibration to create life itself just for survival. Just tell you how low we are vibrate as a species, okay? And people value security and survival more than consciousness and more than evolving. That becomes the norm on this planet, and that's why we are the way we are today, because we are chasing survival. And the way we've been conceived, we not conceived through the chart, we not conceived knowing exactly what date and time, how the frequency of the planet is moving, and how that person was born, because all of us supposed to have what we call a background, spiritual background check on each other. We've been supposed to have spiritual background check, because again, not one of the part of our ignorance is blood. See, not all of us supposed to have baby with certain type of blood, because each blood carry a vibration, and certain blood was not supposed to be mixed within the time period. Some blood was supposed to left alone in order to evolve on their own. But when you join certain people within within blood mix, when we start to have babies with certain blood type, then we also delay the evolution cycle within the spiritual world.
You listening?
Some blood type was supposed to be within themselves so they achieve consciousness or to achieve a life
right
before mate with the next one.
Absolutely.
And all of it happened because of miseducation. They didn't teach us about our own blood. Blood is literally a light code. It's actually a light cycle.
Your plasma.
And a lot of us is carry a burden because of this union. I know people that nothing in their life can work because the ancestors they carry within their blood is actually cursed, that union. The moment that union comes to be, those ancestors was in opposition. Matter of fact, that's a spiritual war. Before they were born, there was a war on the other side against those two blood. And that is the problem, okay? And that is major. And you have people walking around, nothing can work out for them. They don't know why, but it's because of the blood mix. The blood union has not been granted or has not been accepted by these ancestors that actually been working hard on the other side to make sure that light code
Absolutely. So I've been speaking about this for years. I say, no.
What is going on?
Hold on. I be like, no. Y'all talk about African Americans and African. Not once did my spirit or my body lure me to a African to mix that blood. Not once. Okay? And I'm like, wait a minute. And your plasma, your honeycomb is crucial to your existence. And when that plasma try to mix with another person's plasma to create something, why you think people that mix with A and B create AB babies? Because they will never merge. They'll work together before they merge. Why you think the omega blood O is always overridden by A and B? Sometimes they don't merge. Sometimes they can't share the same space. And that's just on the physical level. So, me and this guy had agreed that our union would be through sex. Our marriage would be through sex. And we dibbled and dabbed with the blood. And finally, he got the answer and the verdict before me because we went all out war after that. We didn't get along after that. We would settle down and calm down. And then finally one day, your spirit will just talk. You think you just running off at the mouth being rude, but ancestors gonna come out your motherfucking ass and say some shit where you both get a reality check. He kept saying, Sky, we don't need to have sex no more because we're gonna have a baby. And I said, he said about 3 times, you gonna get pregnant. You gonna get pregnant. I said, no, I'm not gonna get pregnant. God not gonna allow you to have a child with me. And he looked at me like, what? I say, yeah, we're not compatible. The divine was speaking through me right then and there. I say, we're not compatible. I'm not worried about you shooting your load in me, shooting your cum or semen in me. I'm not gonna get pregnant. And it was like the divine was diverting me towards the type of man or energy I was supposed to pursue, or that was supposed to pursue me. The way we clashed, first of all, you believe in the father, you don't believe in the mother. Your God is a he, my God is a she. I gotta be around a man that know the divine feminine, the value of the divine feminine. I can't be around a man and create offspring and he don't know the value of the divine feminine. So that's a big no-no. That's the first step to engage towards Revere Sky's essence, my essence. So if the man has no intuition, knowledge, if his spirit don't guide him towards the divine feminine, I'm not saying that there is no divine masculine, because right now we're operating through 2 sexes, not one. But remember, when that female is created, she is created through that masculine DNA's mother. Their mother, their father's mother. Everything about that man is created from the mother. The father's mother, the mother. Both sides. How you think you got that X chromosome? It's the mother. That Y chromosome is something that came into existence later on in life when they had to get people to start procreating because they had to get people to start procreating because they wanted people to stop duplicating. So they wanted the female energy to stop duplicating and replicating. They needed to start procreating. Because if she would replicate and duplicate herself over and over and over, she would just keep seeing more versions of herself. So they had to make it so that you could start procreating. So yeah, we sit up here and don't say, look at our government, look at our system. Don't have no babies right now. They've taken the seeds out of the food. They've taken the seeds out of this. They've done this. They've done that. They've polluted the water. They've polluted the air. But you still having children. You're not conscious and aware. They got new bioweapons, new diseases. But you still having children. Instead of sitting back in a think tank trying to figure out, where is this going? Where are they taking us? You can't even fend for yourself. How you going to fend for the child? You can't even homeschool because you got to pay bills. You can't even plant fruit trees because you think that shit is toxic. and unnatural, your fruit got to come out of a bag or a can or a basket or a plastic container for it to seem healthy. Remind me of when I was at the Dollar General. I was buying a bunch of garden supplies, and I said, yeah, I got to plant these lemon trees. I need to put them in the ground. And the girl said, what grows on a lemon tree? I just paused for a second. I wanted to bust out laughing. I said, lemons. You know, the yellow thing? I'm like, who went their whole life and don't know where lemonade come from? Who never squeezed lemon in their water? Limes. She said, what grows on a lemon tree? And I just knew how disconnected we was from God. And y'all around here having children with DNA that's not even on your vibratory rate. I've explained before, you know, when I was young, I pictured myself with a white man, a Spanish man, this, that, and other. But you really have to think about your mitochondria DNA. If you want your mitochondria DNA to be pure, meaning you want your children, if you pass away, you want your children to be able to tap into your frequency and connect to the ancestors, right? If you go mixing your DNA with other people's DNA that don't serve your higher power, that don't serve your lineage, don't serve your ancestors, how would they get back? That's like you mixing your bloodline, just simply black and white, European and African, Caucasian and melanated, right? When you mix that DNA, let's say you're a black woman and you have sex with a Caucasian man and your child is born. If that child is born a female, she might still be able to tap into your mitochondria DNA. But 9 out of 10, she won't. She'll have more traits of the parasitic DNA that you allowed in your space. And you're clashing, you're at war. And if you don't clash and if you don't go to war with this other person's DNA, what happens? That means they're monitoring and observing your DNA. They have infiltrated you with a parasitic vibration, a parasitic frequency, and they're trying to slowly move in on your ancestors' ancestry, their DNA, their cosmic nature. I'm gonna explain that. It's just like the planet. It's just like the planet. They didn't just come in, like, let's say you want to say reptilians, which reptilians have probably been here just as long as humans, if not longer. But let's say that there is a alien race, an invader alien race, someone who wants to invade your planet, enslave the people and the animals, and terraform it to their liking, right? So what they'll do is, just like that DNA that collaborated with your DNA but didn't come in hostile. They did not come in hostile, right? So you got this alien race, these invaders that come into your earthly realm, and they hover up in the sky and they just observe. They're not hostile. They're not trying to change the environment. They're just taking samples. Just like this alien parasitic DNA is just taking samples, keeping tabs on you, sending it back to the spaceship where they come from, sending it back from the time loop they come from, right? So you got these invaders. They may observe you for 1,000,000 years. They may observe you for 100,000 years. They may observe you for 5 years, however long. until they realize we could be on this planet, we can capture these people, use their DNA, interlink our frequency within them, phase them out, brainwash them, lower their vibration. The sun is their source of energy. The water is their such source of energy. We'll dam it up. We'll change the frequency of their sun. We'll pollute their sky so they can't get the cosmic knowledge they're supposed to get. And we will invade them. We will put our DNA inside of them. They'll never be able to connect back to their God force energy, their cosmic energy, their light waves, their cosmic waves. We'll create new computer systems to come in and monitor them. So if they ever tap into something, we'll automatically send out a frequency to deter them from that upgrade. We'll bring spells and books into their lives. They won't be telepathic no more. See, this is something you got to think about. Wait a minute. Why are you still procreating? That means you're living in your beastly nature. You're chasing money, which is not created by our God, our Creator. And when I say that, I go after the bag too now. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is we're not creating these think tanks, and we're not trying to figure out how to better our lineage, our bloodline. And we observe, I say observe the higher powers. You'll know how strong your nation is by who they set as an example. You don't see the queen over there. They stand within their bloodline. They got to phone home. How you going to phone home if your bloodline is tainted? You supposed to be trying to find your tribe. You supposed to be trying to find your tribe and phenotype. The closest thing to your soul group possible. That's why I kept saying, man, I don't know if I'm about to travel to go try to find nobody. I was born in America. The heck I look like traveling to go find a bloodline? What's that? My white race? My white counterpart? My Caucasian counterpart? Like, what is that? What am I trying to go find? What ancestral DNA am I trying to go locate? You know what I mean? I was born in America. Well, anyway, there's so many points I could put on this. But it's crucial that you sit back and you count your blessings and you be grateful for not having children during this time. Because you need to value your light codes. You need to value your plasma. You need to value your ancestral DNA. You need to value who you are. And I feel like me and this guy experimenting with the blood to a certain degree. I feel like it was needed because our spirit guides, our ancestors, our mighty country of factors clashed. You understand? We don't get along. Well, it ain't that I don't get along. It was more of his ancestral background realizing this is not who you want. This is not who you need. Y'all don't need to bring... And then you never know. You got to worry about nanoparticles. You got to worry about frequency waves. You got to worry about psyops embedding false thoughts, false frequency into that person to deter them from a match made in heaven. See, it could have been a match made in heaven, but you gotta, if this person don't understand psyops, if this person don't understand you could be manipulated by frequency waves, that something can embed false thoughts and illusions into your mind to the point where you feel like this person is not a blessing, they are a curse, that can happen too. So we'll really never know, okay? But the best thing to do is stay vigilant, heal and protect yourself at all costs. And if it doesn't work out, you just have to try again. Or just fall back and observe. But the most powerful people on the planet, they stick with their bloodline, their known bloodline. They don't go outside of their tribe. And if they do bring someone in, they've studied the frequency of that person's bloodline, inheritance, their cosmic nature, when they was born, when they need to die, all of that. It's all very ritualistic. So I'm going to give an A for effort for us trying. We tried. But if the person you're dealing with is uninformed about being attacked, you got to realize you can be attacked. That's why I say the next person I encounter got to have all their eggs lined up in the basket. They got to have all their ducks in a row. They got to have knowledge of self, knowledge of spirit, knowledge of cosmic free will. They got to understand their celestial body. They can't just totally rely on God, Jesus, and their ancestors to fend for them. They got to gain the knowledge and act on it. Put it to practice. Put it to discipline. Because if they don't, you're going to have an untrained person trying to bring a person into this world, a being into this world. You can't say, I don't want to eat pork, and then this person eat pork. I had a vegan tell me one time, I want my baby to be vegan out the door. I don't want him to drink the mother's breast milk. You a lie. That baby need to get all the DNA codes possible. That baby need to get every DNA code possible. That plasma, there's plasma in that breast milk. Plasma in that breast milk. Why you think when they draw your blood, it's called Plasma Donation Center? You selling your honeycomb? Why would you sell your honeycomb? Anyway, we're having too many babies that are rivaling with other bloodlines. There's a reason why you got your certain head type, your certain nose, and you come from a certain tribe. There's a reason why you stay within that vibration and that frequency. There's a reason you stayed within your tribe. And remember, Dane Calloway, a long time ago, uploaded a video that talked about an Indian that's not in their right environment will not procreate, will not create children. So now you have to look at us as, if we're able to have children and we're not in the right environment, we're the lost tribes. How could you be so enthused by our environment to the point you're willing to procreate? Like, you're content with the bullshit that's going on. You're content with the psyops, the bioweapons, the frequency waves, and you're still having children. You can tell the fallen angels that are discouraged by the frequency. You know how the storm made it so you barely can use your cell phone, barely can get a phone call, barely can send out a signal, barely the text messages aren't being delivered? That probably was your highest frequency ever. Because when they get that stuff back up and running, you're going to be back stuck in the cycle, delusion all over again. When that storm came, you should have been in nature, meditating, yoga, detoxing, cleansing. Because that was the time to actually tap into your ancestral DNA. You should have been trying to do some spiritual work or practice. Sun gazing, water ritual. Because that's when all these cell phone towers and 5G towers and PSYOPs towers and satellites and radios were not connecting properly. The grid was down, the veil was down, and you could tap in. So yeah, be grateful that you don't have children yet. Be grateful that your child DNA is not at war with your counterpart's DNA. Be grateful that you are allowing your bloodline and lineage to thrive through you until you can find the right counterpart. Don't take it for granted. Everybody's not designed to create more of an empire, more of a legacy, more of a food chain for these people. Why would you want to keep creating offspring to be a food chain for these people? A lab rat study for these people? Or beings or entities or observers. Sometimes your bloodline ends with you. Your vibrational frequency ends with you. You are the observer. You are the watcher. You are the lighthouse that sends back the energy to source about what's going on and why you are no longer going to create on this plane of existence. It ends with you. The slavery ends with you. The manipulation ends with you. See, these people that create children have to be reborn again. So 9 out of 10, they hope that they can be born back into their same family. And that's why tribes are clashing, because like the guy said, they're in survival mode. They're not meeting someone to contact in their higher nature. They should be working in their heart space, communication, their third eye, their crown. They should be in Metatron stages when they try to procreate. Because you need those light codes to affirm exactly what you're about to manifest into this realm. Light codes on lower nature will keep the next generation in a curse and in segregation, can't unite, at war with themselves. They're so busy at war with themselves through genetic manipulation and crossbreeding tribes that they can't even fight their oppressor. They're so busy fighting within their own mind, their own psyche, Wondering why one day I can have a dream here and the next day I'm at war here. Why these ancestors won't bless me because they don't like these ancestors. Why every time I move up the ladder, I bring myself back down. Remember, you brought yourself back down. The oppressor ain't got to do nothing because you're not monitoring the spirits. You're not monitoring the light codes. You're not monitoring the frequencies, the seasons. Remember I said long ago, but it's on my other channel, why do they want everybody to procreate a baby on Valentine's to create a Scorpio? Because the Scorpio can walk in the dark and the light, the underworld and the overworld. The Scorpio is jumpable. The Scorpio can be manipulated. So they needed to push out as many Scorpios as possible. They needed, the Scorpio is the race that can be infiltrated. The bloodline, the frequency, it's a frequency, it's not the bloodline. It's a frequency that's created in February, that's born in November, where these observers, these watchers, these invaders can actually invade that zodiac sign. Okay? It's crucial. Why would they pump out a certain zodiac sign every year? Because it's easier for them to invade that zodiac sign and do shadow work. It's harder for them to do shadow work through other zodiac signs. Their minions are through Scorpios. That's why I deal with so much psyops trauma to the point where I had to put up a defense mechanism and I had to remind myself and say affirmations. That's not my thoughts. I don't think like that. I don't do that. I don't want a baby. I don't want to bring nobody else into this world. This is not time. Because I have to stay connected to my celestial higher self. Because I know the zodiac sign that's jumpable, that's malleable. They say it's a fixed sign. Yeah, it's fixed so that they can get into here. Okay? See, a sign that's able to move, they can't correct it. They can't mold it and shape it. But a fixed sign, they can study it. And they can learn how to tweak it to work in their favor. So all the fixed signs in the zodiac, pay attention and monitor them. And pay attention to your head figures. Your head figures are like the presidents, the banksters, the bloodlines, the top bloodlines they want you to know about, the politics, the lawyers, the doctors. Pay attention to them fixed signs. If the sign is fixed, 9 out of 10, that zodiac sign has been compromised so that the invaders can come in and manipulate the DNA of all being born at that time. That's why they push it out. Valentine's mean love because they need as many Scorpios as possible so that they can invade that vessel, because that's the only frequency that will allow them in without them having to battle the DNA of the vessel. Man, I could go on and on and on. I don't stop. I just choose to. I choose to do earthly things. I choose to do earthly things to escape from knowing the truth. But that shit don't get me nowhere either way. I really have to face reality. And now that I'm digesting all of this, I feel like that person probably was a counterpart. They was just too weak. They didn't understand psyops. They didn't understand we could be attacked through frequency war. We under a frequency war. And they didn't understand that, and that would be dangerous. That would be dangerous. I remember when I first met them, I said, look, if we have this child, I got to leave you. I said, don't worry about child support. Don't worry about being a fatherly figure in this child's life. I said, if I have this child, I got to go hide. And you may say, well, Sky, why are you bringing it up? Why are you talking about it? Why are you allowing the observers and the watchers to get a hand up on us? I'm willing to take that risk that the right person will listen and follow the footstep. Trial and error. Don't be so in a rush to make a baby. Make sure that is the right counterpart. My grandmother waited 2 years before she had a baby with my grandfather. She had to make sure, because she didn't want to have a child and had to divorce this man. So the first 2 years, they didn't have a child. So if she needed to go back home and they needed to get a divorce and she had to find another man, she would have been safe. But she knew once she had that child, back then, it would have been hard to find another man to appreciate her and the child. So she dealt with that person for 2 years before she even had a child. And then after she had the first child, she waited 4 more years before she had another child. Absolutely. So, I feel like there's so many things I'm missing to tell y'all, but I'll make a part 2. I'll proofread this video and make a part 2 and take notes. But remember, your bloodline is sacred. Your energy, your vibration, your frequency, your light codes, your DNA codes are sacred. And you need to ask for alignment with the right person. Not the person that make you percolate, not the person that, well, you want that. You want the chemistry. But sometimes you could want the chemistry of a trend. You want the chemistry of propaganda. And that chemistry of that propaganda is setting you back eons. Instead of you going forward, tapping into source, it's setting you back. Say it again, Revere Sky. The propaganda, the trend, your fetish, you merging with the propaganda and the trend and the fetish. People that you're truly not compatible with, people that you truly question, is this even right? Why am I doing it? They will set you back eons. Where slavery and you staying with your tribe kept your bloodline right, kept you in the woods, kept you in the country. You coming to the city, want a new life, want a new dream. It's actually going to set you back. Disconnect you from your source. You're going to be questioning your reality with your child, like, why they vibratory rate off? What's going on? Just like the Jabberwocky. The vibratory rate off. Think about it. So there we have it. Unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free.